Hey, Carlos.
Hi.
I hope I'm not disturbing you. You look really busy.
Not really. Hey Maggie, I'm looking up Sharon Ritchie. Last month I heard an online presentation she did on effective strategies for working with culturally, linguistically, and ability diverse children and their families. Sharon Ritchie's from New Mexico. She shared what her state is doing to increase cultural competence at the program level. I'm all charged up about it and trying to find out more.
What got your attention?
How culture, language, and ethnicity are tied to children's social identity and esteem. I really want to know more.
My friend Julie Edwards knows a lot about this. Let me find a clip of her ideas. Can I use your computer?
Sure.
How do we become effective teachers in this realm? How do we know if we're effective teachers? Part of it is we have to know ourselves. We really have to come to recognize what in our life made us who we are, not just our personalities, but our social identities. What does it mean that I was raised working class and poor? What does it mean that I'm white? I'm talking about myself right now. What does it mean that I'm a native English speaker? What sort of things hold me back in those identities? What sort of things give me a social status and privilege, even though I don't feel like I've led a very privileged life, but oh boy, do I personally get privilege from some of those social identities? How does that affect my relationship to parents, to coworkers? What do they see when they see me? I need to know that. I need to have thought about it. I need to have talked about it. If I'm going to be effective working with children in this really diverse and equitable world, I have to understand my own life in those terms. And you can't do that alone. It requires talking to other people about it, thinking about it, reading about it. It means opening up to both honoring your own history, your own past, and being open to other things. And knowing that culture is not fixed. It's not something that is. It's always changing. We get to choose what pieces of our culture we bring into our daily life and which ones we say, enough. That's not coming with me into the next generation. But this I treasure and I'm bringing with me. We get to do that because culture is always changing. We can be proud of our history and our culture and our racial identities and our language without it being a box we're stuck in. It also means we have to be open to learning from everybody else, particularly people who are different than we are. It's so easy to get defensive, and it's so easy to get scared and angry. But when we do that, we don't hear. We don't have a chance to broaden what we know by seeing it through somebody else's eyes. My daughter's second grade used to have a slogan that said, "All of us are smarter than any of us." Great slogan. When we have different people who see the world differently, as a group we know more than we know individually. So when I put out a cornmeal table for the kids to play with, or I put out beautiful colored beans for kids to glue, I felt like I was being a good early childhood teacher. What great activities for kids, until a group of mothers came in to see me, dressed up, walked in. These were mothers living on next to no income with their kids. They said, "I could feed my children for a week on what you have them gluing. Food is not to be played with." And I could have gotten defensive and said, "Oh, but it's such good." I needed to hear it. I've never used food since. Lots of other things we can play with. We don't need to play with food. And I should have remembered. I had times in my childhood when we went hungry. I should have remembered, but I'd forgotten. You have to be open. When somebody says to me, "You're saying that because you're white," my first heart goes, "Oh, you're saying terrible things about me." And I have to get past that and say, "Tell me, help me see it." Or if they don't want to, I need to go to somebody else and say, "Help me see it," because I will see the world bigger if I can see it through somebody else's eyes. We have to do that for ourselves. We have to give ourselves the gift of being able to hear those things, which may mean that later I sit down and cry. It may mean that I sit at the computer and write like crazy to try to sort it out, but it's a gift.
Hey, can we take this to our staff meeting? I'd like to hear how our staff responds to Julie's ideas.
Okay, let's plan that conversation together. I'll bring the NAEYC cultural competency document that I saw on the California Department of Education website. It has a checklist that has really good set of considerations for exploring these ideas.
Okay, thanks, Maggie.